Let's do see some love for our donations. Gotta show some love to the people who are showing love for the stream. They're the sort of people that allow us to keep on streaming, who keep the streaming rolling. So thank you very much for the $5. Do appreciate it. Some love in the chat, please, guys, as we set on up into this best of 3. Game number 1 on Belshia Vestige. This was the map which True lost out on to the Adept All-In from Hush in game number 2 of their series when they played in one of the initial matches here today. So let's see how this goes. We have to the bottom right hand side the Red Zerg player from Psystorm Gaming. Check it out. It is True. And to the upper left hand side the Blue Protoss player from Dust Gaming. It is Hush. It is indeed very late in career, guys. I was actually kind of surprised when I heard about this tournament that they were going to run every single day at the same time and not change it up for like the Korean group at least, like, and run it a little bit earlier, it was very surprising to me. But obviously, I mean, O-Gaming obviously want to stream in the evenings. I would have thought they might have even just like got the games to play through the day and then casted it at a later point, like from replays. But no, they wanted it to play live, so obviously it kind of sucks for the Korean players. I suppose that's got something to do with why Patience decided to forfeit. I mean, if you've got to show up for the round of 8 and, you know, last 4 late in the day, it's not so bad because you show up, you play either 1 match or 2 matches, you know, it's not that bad, and, you know, it's less days in a row where you have to kind of mess up your sleeping schedule massively, so it's something interesting to think about anyways. As we set it up though, let's go into this and see what's going to happen as we go into game number 1 of the best of 3. So, I mean, what is going to happen? So far, nothing too much happening. Just overlords across the map. Here's me building up all the hype of what's going to go on. Let's go into this. Action, action, action. And then in reality, it's just like, yeah, the guy's making drones, the other guy's making probes. And they're just going for very standard build orders, which is indeed the case. I mean, True showed us some very interesting games earlier. We never really got to see his plan develop on Belshia Vestige because he died early to that Adept All-In. But on Cactus Valley, he was trying to hide a hatchery and the hidden base and so on. It was kind of interesting. So it's definitely not been the most standard day so far out of True. Intrigued to see what happens on Belshia once again as we set up into this and look to see what's going on. Patience was indeed playing VSL today as well, so it's been a bit of a tough one for him, I guess. A bit of an awkward time for him to kind of... I guess he'll get back home from VSL, probably has to do some promo video stuff after his group. And then he gets back home, probably only has a few hours, and, you know, obviously you can't mess up your sleep schedule the night before too much if you got to play VSL today, so I guess it just didn't line up so well for him overall, and didn't line up quite as nicely as he wanted it to, so ends up forfeiting. As you're going to see a couple gateways coming down, going up to the 3 gates in total. Is that a full wall off? Is there a gap over here? I think that's a full wall off, isn't it? Right? Where's this Adept going to go? No way, that's not... Nah. Protoss, man. How's that even not a complete wall? They trick me all the time. I was going to say, it doesn't make sense to wall off completely. So there you go. The gap is left, and we set up into this. 2 more gates, 3 gates in total to follow up the Oracle opening, and into a Twilight Council behind this. So far, looking very similar to what Hush did on Belshia Vestige earlier today. Even the Void Ray coming out of the Stargate next to start cleaning up some Overlords, etc., and denying scouting. And True looking to play a very similar style as well. The early Evolution Chamber, probably for a +1 melee upgrade. We've been seeing that a lot as of late to go in towards either, well, some sort of Ling Bane composition, whether it's Ling Bane Hydra or Ling Bane Ravager. I think the important thing is, you know, it's fine for him to do this as long as he gets the Baneling Nest down and figures out that this is coming. Last game he went into, or last time they played, he went into the Lair, he went into the Hydra Den, and as the Adepts attacked, he had his first 4 or 5 Hydras on the way up, which obviously just aren't in time. It's obviously just not enough to help out either, as we do see the Queens just injecting away. Drones just mining away over on the natural expansion. The Zerglings here moving through, seeing what's up. Actually going to be picking off a probe at the front, but a nice pylon placement just to make sure those Zerglings can't indeed run through at the very end. As the Void Ray is starting to pick off some Overlords, helping out with the Zerglings too. And just picking up some kills. Another Overlord out the front will go down from True. We'll push him even further into a supply block, actually. I mean, 1 Overlord on the way up, but... I mean, he's going to be supply blocked for a little while here. Now a couple more starting. He's just starting to make some Zerglings. I mean, what does he really scout so far, though? Not too much. The 3 gates. He does see the Robo facility building. But he doesn't get to see in the main base, right? Which is kind of important. Missing that information about the Glaives upgrade. However, from Hush this time around, he is on 46 workers. He's on the Quad Gas. taking that 4th gas right now, so it's very different to the last time they played on Belshire. Not going to add on 8 extra gateways, is going to take his extra gas to keep on teching up. As you're going to see the Lings, though, there's a lot of them running towards that 3rd, and right now not really a lot in position to defend it. 3 Adepts, and that's Zol. Oracle here too will actually help out quite a lot against these early Zerglings. Hasn't really found much damage at all so far in the game, as the Lings will start a fight. No +1 for them just yet, but also no glaives on the Adepts. Vodo will come across too, and again we'll just help out a little bit as the Oracle going and working his way through those Zerglings. And now those Lings going to pull away down the right-hand side of the map. +1 melee continue to come on up then, as we see again the Zerglings just backing away. Adepts do make their way in towards the 3rd base, where they do not really find too much damage right away here. They're going to cancel their shade. I was going to say they're about to shade into the natural, but they do cancel that at the last moment then to turn around and pull back up the left-hand side a little bit, as they're going to try and just get into the best possible position and try and trade this out. +1 melee completing for this fight. But there is also, again, the fact that Glaives is completed. I mean, it's still okay. It picks off a few of the Adepts, and only a few of them get away. And they're forced to shade into a position where they're just going to get picked off as well anyways. However, more Adepts in the natural, and this time drones are going to pull the fight against them, and that's never going to end in a good... well, it's never going to end well for the Zerg player, is it? 9 workers killed. And Hush continue to pick up damage here as true. Starting to go into Roach speed. The Roach missile upgrade as well. Not further melee upgrades, which is generally the metagame here if you're going to play something like a Ling Bane style. So, kind of interesting to see these Adepts will go down. 16 Adepts going down. 16 drones now killed recently as Adepts in the natural expansion and in the main picking off more workers. Hush is just all over the place. This prison being a massive nuisance and just trading so well so far. Of course, I mean, he is trading out a lot of army supply for a lot of economy, but obviously that's the idea. If he kills off a lot of economy, he forces True to keep on rebuilding drones and not an army to punish Hush for the fact that he did just lose a lot of work, a lot of Adepts of his own. You can see Revelation dropping down again, and these Zerglings from True going to be coming up here. And again, just going to see this Adept and the Void Ray continuing to fight as well, as we do have, again, a few sentries and Immortal here just to the top side. As a kind of a moment to calm, I was saying someone talking about how it's a bit dumb that you can't tell if it's a Warlock or not. But Kurok raises a good point about, you know, when you're actually playing, you can have a building grid to help you out. And to be fair, it's just when the Protoss buildings are building. Like, if you look at this now, it's quite, maybe not obvious, but I think if you know StarCraft, this is super obvious that this is like a gap between them. It's just when they're building, it can be a little bit tricky to see sometimes. So it's a little bit of a weird one. But anyway, just thought I'd respond to that. As you see, a couple more Adepts being picked off here. Prism still backs away, more drones dropping. Hush, I'm actually worried for him because now Roach speed is up, +1 missiles is up, and it feels as though True can just push across the map and get some good damage done. Because what does really Hush have at home? Well, he does have a few sentries. He's got triple Immortal, and I guess he's got a lot of gates to whoop in on as well. And I guess that will start to make the difference. So I guess ignore me. I'm a little bit wrong. I was feeling as though maybe True could get a fight going and a push across the map, but I think Hush has just about bought himself enough time, and now True, well, now he's sort of on Ling Roach, and he doesn't really have the gas to morph in a whole bunch of Ravagers. I mean, he can morph in about 7, 8, I think, at the moment, if my maths is correct. I think it's about 7 at the moment, which is okay, but it's still not exactly brilliant, as we see coming up this right-hand side, still pushing forward. These Lings are going to come in and maybe try a bit of a surround. Force Field comes down, a second Force Field too. I'm just going to be seeing these Zealots pushing forwards to see what else they can get up to as well. High Templar having to back away. I mean, this is True's opportunity to really get some damage done here before the Protoss army becomes a bit too deathbally. Lings will catch Immortals to the left side. That's always awesome, because the Immortal shot's currently being wasted on Zerglings. Massive amount of overkill, not getting that bonus damage onto armored units. And that means so many of these Roaches survive for True to now push to the right-hand side with. You see some High Templar backing away. There's not even Storm started, so I don't know why he hasn't morphed them into Archons yet. But the Overcharge still helping out too. And eventually, True does have to kind of pull back and back away. It looks like he is going to start Storm, so he does want to keep the High Templar's energy. But man, you would have thought in that situation he would have just warped in Archons. But hey, I guess he knew he didn't need them. If he doesn't need them, better have those High Templar with a lot of energy so they have a double Storm when Storm is up, rather than just the single one from the new High Templar being warped in. And so obviously Storm is going to be a very strong follow-up coming in the next few moments now, because we see, well, Storm being Chrono Boosted. We're going to be seeing Hydras continue to come on up, and as the Hydra count gets large, you need something against it. If you can't clean out the Hydra count quickly, the damage output of the Hydras, while they're very squishy and they die quickly, is just too high, so you lose your army before you can get that damage done. The splash damage obviously helps you so much more in terms of cleaning the Hydras out nice and quickly, working their way against them nice and swiftly too. and all the rest of it. As we see the Oracle coming to the right-hand side. A couple of Archons going to continue morphing in here. They're about to finish up, actually. As the High Templar, the Immortal, continue to move down the right-hand side as well. Some Zealots also to the far right. And just going to be seeing the Baneling Nest is about halfway done from True. And as we see the Muscular Augments also on the way up on the Hydralisk Den. So Muscular Augments about to finish on up here. You'll see the +2 melee upgrade is on the way as well. I'm just going to see this Oracle pulling across over to the left-hand side. Going to drop a Revelation on the Ravagers and the Hydralisks. The Zerglings too just sat on the left side watchtower. A single Zergling from True actually going to burrow next to this Nexus here. And again, Probes just pulling over to the right and starting to mine away on this base. A couple more High Templar and another Zealot or two being warped in as well. And you've seen actually these Zealots in the main base starting to work their way through this Hydralisk Den. Hydralisk Den starting to take quite a bit of damage. Transfuser is still coming down to try and protect it, and he will keep it alive. An important part of his build if he wants to continue building more Hydras going into the future. For all the craziness that happened early in this game, for all the trades and whatever else, the game right now definitely is in a pretty stable position. True, definitely expecting to be ahead on supply given his composition. And with the Storms and basically a high-tech army from Hush, he's okay to be behind 20-30 army supplies. It's not the end of the world for him. Still has that Prism to harass with. He's got Zealots in position to deal with these Zerglings already as he waits for some extra cannons to come up to this right-hand side. And now True adding in those Banelings, something which has been missing a little bit for him throughout. Again, that investment into +1 and even +2 missiles before the +2 melee. Something you don't oftentimes see either, but I guess it's because he did play without the Banes for a long time. He really wanted his Roaches / Ravagers and the Hydralisks to have that little bit of extra damage output. So, and he had to really see a larger fight with the Hydras in play now. And that's going to obviously be kind of the next stage of this. As True will begin to take his 5th base to the right-hand side. And that's where things start to get a little bit scary as well, because it means that True is on a bit of a timer. You know, once your 5 bases mine out on this map, that's about it, unless you can steal one of your opponent's bases, which is not the easiest to do. And it means that you're just on very limited economy, so True really has to win this game. Well, I mean, not immediately right now, but in the next 10-15 minutes, we're talking about being mined out. And that's not going to be pretty here, as we see Hydra's starting to work their way through a couple of Archons. There's that Ling Bane counterattack to the right-hand side. The Eva just waiting for the opportunity. And they will come on through. And they're starting to get quite a lot done. A lot of probes going down here. And actually enough Banes to keep on rolling towards the 3rd base as well. We see a warping of Zealots. I mean, even if the Banes just trade with the Zealots now, that's actually not so bad a trade, I don't think. And even making it into the mineral line, I mean, it just takes one Bane with that +2 melee to actually pick off a whole bunch of probes. And that is 26 workers dead. True doing some very good damage so far. There's a couple of Banelings getting picked off to the right-hand side. Zealots are moving around as well to see what else they can do. Hydras, Ravagers, and Banelings seeing what's up. A couple of Corrosive Bowels being dropped down. An Oracle to the left side here getting picked off as well. There's a Storm. There's a few Banes connect on forwards in towards the Immortals, in towards the Archons. And again, looking to see what else might happen here in the next couple of moments. These Ravagers trying to see they can get a bit more done as well. Pushing forwards, 2 of those Ravagers going down very quickly. Banes again looking to try and fight. Meanwhile, we do see Zealots in the mineral lines. 13 drones going down. As True having to deal with that harassment while again staying in position to fight this army. Not going to be easy because it's a high-tech army out of Hush. And man, I mean, when you get to this sort of stage of the game, you generally do kind of want something a bit more from True, I think. You know? As there's this many Archons and this many Immortals with Storms as well, there's just so much to work with for the Protoss player, whereas early in the game, you can hit this sort of composition while there's much lower, higher tech units on the map, and that's generally where this composition does become very powerful. So True, I still think, doing a very good job with all these counterattacks, but now he's got a lot of Ling Bane out of position, so he can't really deal with this attack. I mean, Corrosive Bowels will fend it away and buy him some time. Overcharge is being dropped over here as the Banes will roll on in as well. True is still just rebuilding a lot of Zerglings, but oh my god, the Overlord farm going down, and suddenly True is supply blocked as this attack towards the 4th base is starting to take shape. Again, he takes down 17 probes to the other side of the map, but how does he ever kill this army? Well, the Hydras and Ravagers with another wave of Banes again ready to go. A couple of High Templar, I say a couple, 4 or 5 full of energy going down to the Banes. That is a big connection, and that will definitely slow Hush down in the coming moments. The Zerglings streaming in towards the mineral line on the 3rd base as well right now. You're going to be seeing these few extra Zealots warping in once again. We're going to be seeing these probes once again taking quite a bit of damage. And this is again True doing a lot of eco damage to Hush, who is only on 20 probes. And yeah, True's only on 44 drones, but man, I mean, that's something compared to now 17 probes left. That is really not a lot to work with here. As I mean, the 4th base also being dead is not great. True does have the base to the right-hand side to mine from. And he still has a good amount of Hydra Ravager here. Still a lot of Archons though, still a lot of Immortals too. And those are still the units that are very difficult to get rid of on the map. He still has some High Templars for the Storms as well. A few Zealots, Zerglings, sorry, just going to begin to burrow towards this third base. Observer does come through, is able to pick those off at the same time and tack to the left. True going to make sure that Hush does not have an easy time setting back up in towards the fourth base at all here. And that's the issue. Hush doesn't really have anywhere to mine from. I mean, I guess he can pull off a few probes. I don't even know where his probes are. There they are, transferring down to this base. And again, I mean, True just has to hold off this army. He has to find a way to trade it out, and I feel as though he's getting there. But the army supplies are still very similar, only 10 in it. As we do see now True actually losing this right-hand side base. He'll lose another 10 to 15 workers as well. And that's also going to be painful. A few drones actually managed to pull away. So it's only 8 workers that go down. And the lone Archon gets left behind. It gets sniped down. Obviously True not over eager to take a fight. He knows that time is on his side. Another run by, and it's going to be even more dead production, more dead probes. It really just pushes Hush completely all in with this army now, pushing forwards towards the left-hand side. You see this, I mean, this is every single probe going down, right? 3 probes left, and they're all over here. The last 2 probes are going to start falling very shortly. And Hush has absolutely nothing left to do but to push forwards and try and take the proper fight. Lurkers starting to morph in from True, Lings, Banes, Ravagers as well. Pulling towards the left side a little bit. Zergling's going to surround this Nexus, and it will go down here in the next couple of moments. I mean, again, it doesn't really matter, because Hush has nothing to kind of build with anymore. I think, actually, the only reason it will matter is the fact that if he lost all of his buildings, it would lose him the game. But the 2 Archons holding position on the ramp will actually manage to hold the ramp for now. Zergling's coming over here. Going to be seeing the overcharges, helping to clean on out. Just, again, whatever you can do right now, just try and slow this down as we do see the pylons fall and Archons coming over. I don't understand why Hush has just sat back, though. The sooner he goes forwards and fights, the better it's going to be for him. I mean, I understand it's not exactly a fight he wants to take into all of these Lurkers, but he doesn't gain anything by sitting back. Whereas True gets more Hydras up, and yeah, it really isn't pretty, but what else are you going to do? You just have to go for it. Even if it's going to be a horrible engagement, you just have to try and commit. Oh, man. Not going to be pretty at all. We see a Creep Gym again picked off to the far right-hand side. The Lurker's going to burrow as well right here. And still this Ling, Bane, Ravager army, some Hydras too, moving around to see what's up and to see what's going on. And we've seen these units from Hush going to be still moving around, looking to see what's going on. A few drones towards the upper left-hand side, a few Overlords on the way out as well from True. I mean, the thing is, True is still just building more and more. Like, I don't understand what exactly Hush is hoping for here. I mean, True is even long-distance mining, which you can see, and even if it's just a few extra Zerglings, it still isn't getting better for him. So, I mean, obviously True's very happy to just sit back, because I think he realizes that he's won this game, right? As long as nothing happens. Like, what's Hush got? He's waiting to make 1 probe. He has to lose something before that can happen, though, because he can't build any pylons or something. So, I mean, it's pretty tough. I mean, maybe he's waiting for True to move out like this. I mean, it's his best chance, I suppose, but still. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a better chance, I guess, if the Lurkers are unsieged and you can get a better position. I don't feel True really needs to go into this position, though. I mean, it was a bit risky for him to, but now it's going to pay off. But I guess it gives Hush the opportunity to move up this round. Like, if True just sat here, it's completely fine, but I guess it still doesn't make Hush leave the game. And as you're going to be seeing Overlord going down first, Storm scaving the edge of the army. A couple of Banes do not make it towards the High Templar. True, probably going to have to give up this base to the left, which isn't too much of an issue. Mined out, only a few drones over here. The fact he's mining from this healthier base to the right is awesome, as we see Lings and Banes across the map. I mean, that's the sort of counterattack that will just start pushing Hush into a position that forces him into a tough spot. As Archon's in the middle of nowhere. Looked as though Hush wanted to pull them across the map to maybe help with the fight. As now we realize, I think Hush realizes it's time for him to just go forward and see what he can do. But True, I mean, leaving these Lurkers very much so on their own. Is there a way to fight against this? Well, Hush seems to think not. But again, what else do you do? I mean, this is his best opportunity yet. Surely, because there's Lings, Banes across the map. Unless he feels as though he can go home and intercept some of those. But man, I just don't know. I mean, I don't think Hush can win the game, but I feel as though it's definitely still not getting better for him. I feel as though I'm a record on repeat right now, because it just... I mean, what's he going to do? Pull back home and then what? Like, I mean, if he gives True time to mine, then True gets enough money to just sort of take a fight, even if he's pushing across the map. Sends 2 Archons back home. Obviously now it's even worse for him because now he's 2 less Archons in the main army. He just doesn't have the composition or the numbers to realistically push in towards these lurkers. And that's going to be his real issue right here. Now True just sits on the high ground. I mean, he's got a fresh base. Even if it comes to rebuilding all of his tech and production on this base because he gives up his main, he can afford to because he's got an entire base of mining against absolutely nothing of Hush. 21 minutes in. I feel as though we are going to have to see Hush make a move forwards in the next few moments. This is not going to be a little bit of a... it's not going to be an easy fight. I mean, I just can't believe he sat back for so long. Like, again, it just hasn't gotten much better for him. I agree. I can understand. In a way, I mean, I don't understand, but I can see why. Because in this sort of situation, like, you don't want to rush into anything. It feels silly to attack into the lurkers, but there has to be a point where you realize that it's your only real chance, right? A couple of hiders over here getting picked off. I mean, it's something, right? But I mean, at the same time, more lurkers morphing in over here, and it's still not getting any better. And again, even if he comes in through here and picks off all the production, and that's just going to be even more. As True once again just seeing the opportunity, pulls some Lings and Ravagers away to the top side. Going to be able to break his way through this ramp, and then he just starts to pick away at the buildings once again. Or he just waits up here to come in for the surround. It also works out nicely for him, as you can see. Hush just going to try and go for it. It's been a long time going. Let's see how this goes. First lurker starting to drop the surround from the top side. It's going to be very nice as we see a lot of the High Temple getting picked off. Not really enough storms to get rid of all of these Banes, and Hush's army gets destroyed in the end. True picks up game number 1. I wonder if True is going to try some sneaky proxy hatch play once again. And when I say proxy hatch, I mean hidden base sort of level of proxy hatch, because that's what he did on the first game of the first time these guys met earlier today. So that was a little bit weird. It was a little bit different, and something I wasn't quite expecting out of the PvZ, and I don't think something that Hush was really expecting of the PvZ either, because it took him until the end of a base trade to find that hidden hatchery. So let's see how this is going to go as we set on up into game number 2. Let's see what will happen. As to the top left-hand side of the map, our red Zerg player from Psystorm Gaming, give it up. As he's 1 map away from hitting the round of 8, it is going to be True. Bottom left-hand side, the blue Protoss player representing Dust Gaming. Give it up if you're cheering on Hush. Again, guys, how are we all feeling today? Let me know what's going on. Don't forget, drop a follow on the channel as well if you're enjoying the stream and enjoying the cast. And we are live pretty much daily with StarCraft 2 content. Tomorrow we will be live with the round of 8 of this tournament. In case you haven't been keeping up throughout the week, we have had Denver, DNS, qualify out of Group France. Out of Group Europe on Tuesday, we saw Showtime and Hearthstone advancing. On Wednesday, we saw, which was yesterday, Panda Bear Me and Cham advancing out of the group. And obviously today, so far, Hurricane has advanced in first place. And we're looking to see whether it's going to be True or Hush to advance in second place of the group, as this is our final best of 3 of the day. So setting up in towards this, we're going to be seeing this simulator dropping down in the main. So second gas coming through. Nothing too crazy just yet in the early stages of Cactus Valley. And we aren't even seeing Drew send a drone to the opposite side of the map to try and proxy a hatchery either. And as you just see this probe continue to nibble away, trying to block the minerals here. And is forcing some drones to come up towards the top side of the map. Or the mineral line. Again, just disrupting mining basically. Some mining disruptions going down as we'll see this probe from Hush going towards the side, and again, just going to hide just up to this top side right here, so just going to hide away. We see the Zerglin speed on the way up from Tour as well. Again, right away, I mean, nothing too crazy in the PvZ. I like this little bit of a hidden probe, though. Gives Hush a little bit of a free scout at a little bit of a later point of the game, and obviously that's always a big benefit if you get a scout for free that you wouldn't usually pick up on. It'd be a big positive, a big plus, I feel. So that probe does hide away up there as we see another queen popping on out, and that inject going to come down on towards this natural expansion. So injecting over here. Third hatchery starts up as well from True. Send up into this, and we're going to see how it's going to go. Going to see the robo facility on the way up in the natural expansion. And an adept starting to build up here from Hush as well. So again, really nothing too crazy. Fast robo, I guess, is maybe a little bit unusual, and what we expecting, well, obviously a warp prism potentially. Maybe just a fast immortal-based attack, as we do see the Overlord here, just out of range of the Overlord, and True, if the Stalker, to sort of say, hey, I don't want you coming near me, I don't want you to see what's happening. And as he is going to keep that Robo, it's such a precarious position, but obviously without a pile in the main sooner, It's kind of a weird one. It's probably safer here than in the... It's tough to say, because if you build it here, then I guess if you put in spawns bottom right, then, yeah, I don't know, actually. I don't know, because he's scouted with a probe. Hard to say, hard to say. Why exactly you would build it here rather than the main. Because I imagine this Paladin would have been up in time to build as we see 2 more gateways coming down. First of all, I mean, just being chrono boosted out, Hush, looking to just go for a very fast immortal in to try and make this happen. I mean, if it's just going to be the 1 immortal push, well, so far it looks like it. 1 warp prism now on the way after the first immortal. Stalker still just patrolling the sides, looking to push away any sort of scouting potential coming forwards. As the prism comes up, if he could just avoid this overload at the front, it would be awesome. No mothership core out to give him that high ground vision just yet, though. I mean, the warp prism will allow him to hit that. But obviously, that's a little bit risky. As Hush now will see this overload momentarily. True takes a few more shots on it. And still just hiding these units away to the side. I guess he lifts them up in the prism and he just goes across the map with... It's still difficult, right? Because if he pushes with the Adept and the Stalker, it's still a little bit of a giveaway. But Hush, he has snuck out onto the map with this. He could drop in the main. Ooh, he could drop in the main where True really has no vision at all. And then... It's really going to go and scout it, but we actually see 30 Zerglings currently in production, 34 Zerglings in production. True, it's almost as though he has a bit of a feeling that this is happening. As here we go then, Immortal and 2 Adepts will start to harass. Queen's coming in as well. He's not going to be able to warp in, but I don't think he wants to warp in. I think he just wants to harass here initially and obviously just do as much damage as possible, while following up with a bit of a stronger attack later on. And there's the next wave of gateways. So that will be 8 in total, with the 5 extra coming on through here, and Sentry's warping in as well, so he's just getting ready for a follow-up attack in the near future. But True, well, he actually deflects the first prism of harassment very easily, and obviously right now as well, he's got a whole bunch more lings on the way out. So I guess my only issue is the fact that he is only making Zerglings. A Roach Roll would definitely not go amiss, maybe even just a Baneling Nest. Help clean up a few of the Adepts as lings will come in nicely, popping the barrier there. Queen's helping to try and push away the Warp Prism. And these Zerglings, I think a lot of the reason they're made is to try and deny a third base quickly and maybe catch Hush off guard. But obviously, in this sort of scenario, he's not going to make a third base. So, just going to keep the lings on the map and look for the opportunities. They're mobile, they're fast moving. And actually, maybe Hush does build a third base, but more of a fake third base. Maybe he looks to build it, then cancel it to try and trick you a little bit. As, Adepts and a Stalker, no Resonating Glaives yet. And that's going to be some very dead units right away here. So that's some nice pickups by True. Going to make this follow-up attack so much easier for himself to defend. That's True. Getting 0-2'd earlier by Hush. Now looking as though he might just 2-0 him, because so far in Game 2, this game's been going fantastic. +1 melee about to kick into play. More Zerglings still being produced, just massing up these Zerglings as the army does start to push across the map. Lair on the way, he's adding on Spine Crawlers as well towards the front of his natural. I mean, actually, the way this space is set up and the way that Hush has to attack from, very likely they're going to come into play anyways, especially if you just pull them a little bit further forwards. Lings then still sat in the middle of the map too, going to look to come in for the surround, even just pick up a few units. That trailing at the back, Depths and Sentries getting surrounded. One Sentry to the top side does not quite go down just yet. The one at the bottom alongside these few Depths definitely does get picked off though. That's true of Queens as well. Now he's building the Roach Warren. I mean, very late Roach Warren addition, but well, let's see how this goes. Queens will start to take the fight. Couple force fields will block some Queens and the Zerglings out. And that's going to be a pretty major issue here, as Ling's not able to come in from the top side, and that's why even just 1 or 2 Ravagers could have come in super useful, of course, to pop those force fields. But True, way away from the Roachron, and obviously way away from Ravagers, having to morph in Roaches and then Ravagers, but it might not even matter. Queen's now targeting the Warp Prism. That's going to be no more further Warp-ins. Does save 1 Immortal for a few more moments, but man, I mean, there's just so many Zerglings, and they just keep on pushing forwards. True seeing this coming forward so early, defending the initial harassment so well, just put him in a great position to follow through, and now everything will end up going down. Takes a while as Hush hides himself away in the corner, but in the end, it's just too much. True is going to be able to take 2-0 revenge from earlier, and he advances through to play in the round of 8 tomorrow.